Okay. I start becoming emotional when I'm talking about my dad and how he passed away yesterday. Um, and I lose my train of thought. So I wanted to share this real quickly. Um, love on your people. If God tell you to go somewhere, go somewhere. If God tell you to call, call. God tell you to do, because tomorrow is not promised. My father passed away suddenly. And as I shared in other videos, he's not my biological father, because I talk about both of my dads. He's not my biological dad, but I don't like calling him my stepdad because he raised us, right? Um, I'm still in a moment. I'm still trying to process it. I'm still trying to it's like a part of me is hoping that one of my sisters will call me and say, "Hey, dad pulled through," even though we made the funeral arrangements today. It's like I'm still waiting for that phone call. I'm still waiting for him to call me. I'm still waiting for him to be like, "Hey, Chrissy, this your dad." I'm like, "Dad, I know it's you." I'm waiting for a text message. I'm waiting for something. I moved away. I moved away from our home city, our home state, about 7 years ago. So, I go back home and I visit. And I was there a couple weeks ago, and me and him, we sat and we talked. These past 8 years has been very beautiful because we've gotten to know each other even greater. Even though, I've known him as a little girl when he married my mother, but God allowed me to see a different side of him. And I wish that I had that opportunity to see that growing up, because it was like my dad raised us like we were boys. He had 3 girls, but it was like he raised us like 3 boys, being very tough, very tough. So to the parents who are listening to this, it's okay to just say I love you to your children. I mean, we knew that our dad loved us because he took care of us, but the affection, is important. You hug your kids and stuff like that. But other than that, our dad, he was a great provider. He took care of us. He made sure we had everything we needed. He was at every basketball game. One of my sisters was doing like the flag, and my other sister, she was in the band. So he was at every game, every parent teacher conference. He would sit down. He would literally have me sit at the table and finish my homework because I'd be like, I don't want to do it. I was lazy. But I'm grateful because he instilled a work ethic in us, and he didn't want us to be with anybody else or settle for anyone else who did less than that. Because here it is, this man had 2 artificial hips. Here, this man was in a lot of pain. He had a lot of different health challenges and stuff like that, and yet he still went to work. And I remember the day when he couldn't go to work anymore. I took him to the doctors, and we found out that he was going blind. I remember when he had got some other news about his health that wasn't pleasant news, and it began to affect his walking, and he began to use a walker. And I remember being in my parents' room, and I told my dad, I said, "Dad," I said, "I see you walking again, Dad. I see you walking again on your own." And I want to say about a year later, he was back to walking on his own. He was back to walking on his own. And what he had told me, because I was in the process at that time of, I was in the process of getting married. And what he said to me, he said, "Chrissy, if I'm still alive, I'm going to come visit you in Chicago." And I was like, "Okay, Dad, okay." And he kept his word. He was the first person to come visit us in Chicago, legally blind, and could halfway walk. And at that time too, what makes it so special is that my husband was still walking on his own at that time. So my husband was the one, we were taking him all over, and my husband wanted to show him all over the city of Chicago. And my husband was holding my dad's hand, taking him across the street and guiding him and just making sure he was able to, be able to just really enjoy himself while he was here. I was able to cook my dad a meal because at the time we were vegetarian. As y'all can see, this double chin, right? I ain't no vegetarian no more. But I was able to fix him a meal, and he was like, "Oh, this is good, Christy. This is good." He really enjoyed himself. And I'm just thankful and grateful that I was able to spend that time with my dad. And for him to be in the condition that he was in, which he ended up getting worse, years later. But he said, "I'm coming up there." And then we had just talked to him. Me and my husband had just talked to him the other day. And he was saying, he was like, "Hey, y'all, I want y'all to, cause my dad, he be talking hard or something." I was like, "Damn, he's like, yeah, I want y'all to, try to find me a suit. I want a 3-piece suit. I want to get 3 different colors, all I think one of a pinstripe. He wanted a nice hat." It was like, "Okay, Dad," because he said, "I want it from Chicago." And then he said, "I'm gonna send y'all the money, so y'all can find me a suit." I say all this to say, you never know. You never know when it's someone's last time. And it's almost like when my sisters were down in the hospital, they had to make a quick decision. They called me, as the oldest. It was like, "Hey, what y'all, what you want to do?" And I just said, "I know Dad is tired." But yeah, let me kind of go back. So when he was here, I'm all over the place because I'm emotional. When he was here and my husband was still walking on his own, my husband was like holding his hand and just taking him, to the different places. We took him out to eat. I cooked for him here. He was able to eat my vegan dish, and he really enjoyed it. We took him to a vegan restaurant, Chicago diner. It's really good. My husband and I, we took him to the United Center. My husband took him to Chinatown, just took him all over. And he thoroughly enjoyed himself. And we were talking about him, I think, coming back, but it was very hard because of vision. Like I said, he worked until he couldn't physically work anymore. His eyesight began to go out and affect him. And I want to say 2 years ago when my grandmother passed away, which is his mom, my grandma Vera, and me and my husband went down. He helped my husband. And I think I took a picture of that. So here it is. My dad, he was back walking on his own. Because I had told him that. I told him that before, like years prior to that. I said, "Dad, I see you walking again. I see you walking on your own again." And he had begun to do that on his own. But to have him help my husband out the car, grabbing onto my husband to help him get into the house and to help him get into the car. Just love on your people.